Okay.
This is swanky.
Yeah. All right. So this is the first daytime review we've done in a very long time. I think the last one we did was Despicable Me 2.
Wow.
Which should tell you something.
It's been a few months, yeah.
About how long it's been since we actually seen the sun while recording one of these things. But anyway, Wes is with me today, and we just got out of Frozen, the new Disney movie. And
Yes, we did.
Can this movie about Winter Wonderland melt my cold, cold heart? Maybe. Surprisingly, yeah. Actually, it really did. I loved this movie. I thought it was fucking great.
Well, it was fantastic, but it had the exact opposite effect on us. You know, it melts your frozen heart, and it turns this lovable Teddy into an ass.
We'll get to that, but he's a tremendous dick. like unbelievable. I was in shock for a little. But it happens towards the very end, so I can't quite say it right now.
Exactly.
But overall, I thought this was a really good Disney movie.
I'm impressed. This is probably the best holiday-themed movie I have seen in years.
Agreed. It's also the best anime movie to come out this year, by far. The best anime movie to come out this year. I like Monsters University, but this is
this was way better than Monsters University.
This is way better than Monsters University. And I'm much more bigger supporter of Pixar than I am of Disney animated, so that should be saying a lot.
It's true.
And that, for one, it actually calls out on some of the Disney tropes that I can't fucking stand.
There was that.
And it was wonderful.
Yes. So.
Okay.
All right, so we had some previews at the beginning.
We talk about those at the end.
So. We'll talk about those at the end. All right, we'll talk about those at the end then.
Yes. So, we can't talk about the short, though. We did get the short.
It's true. I honestly thought they just brought out like an old Disney short until like 90 seconds into it when I'm like, what?
What happens is the short was, I forget, it's like it's called Horse Ride or something like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like it's styled after the old school Disney cartoons.
Like Steamboat Willie days.
Yeah, exactly. So old black and white style. Then all of a sudden it goes all meta on us, and they pop out of the screen and turn into color, and it's like
it goes 3D and
3D animated cartoons, and it's basically it's the most meta short I think I've ever seen Disney do. And it's kind of trippy in a lot of ways.
I figure in the Disney office when they were storyboarding this, they started off talking about classic Disney. At the very beginning, they dropped acid. They got about 5 minutes of practicing it, like talking about it before things started taking effect.
Maybe. Like, whoa, dude. What if we like turn the screen upside down and Pete starts falling upwards?
What if they could pop out of the screen? But how will we repay the theaters? No, not really.
No, we're gonna have a cow dude who has a Captain America t-shirt.
Yes.
Because we own Marvel now and we can do that.
Best crossover yet.
Yeah, I would love if Captain America just fucking showed up out of nowhere.
It's true. Next we'll get Donald Deadpool.
How would that even work? That's like... It only works if you say something as Deadpool, doing the Donald Duck voice. So like,
I kind of did.
Well, like say point. It's like, can you say my common sense is tingling as in the Donald Duck voice?
No, I cannot. I can't enunciate anything in the Donald Duck voice.
Yeah, I know it's tricky. I can't do it. Maybe like what'd be another good one? Like Goofy Thor. Well, gosh, Loki, I guess I have to stop the frost giants now. Who would Mickey Mouse be?
Well, more than likely, I really could see him as Tony Stark.
No, I could see him as Xavier. I think it would probably be better.
Xavier. But Disney, does Disney own Fox?
No, but they do own Marvel, so technically, kind of have the right to.
Yeah, but Fox has the right to X-Men right now.
It's a tricky subject, but...
Exactly, that's why we get the horrible, horrible Wolverine movies.
I liked the Wolverine, the new one. I thought that was actually pretty good.
I like Hugh Jackman as the Wolverine. I don't like the movies.
Fair enough. Anyway, back on topic.
Yes.
As we talk about Disney crossovers.
Yes.
Anyway, so this movie is basically based on a short story, or short stories for a book, I don't know what it is, but...
it's classic.
The Winter Queen, I think it's called.
Yep.
Which I've never read, but I if it's anything like this, they adapted pretty well. I seriously doubt it follows the book all that well.
No, it doesn't follow the book too closely, but I mean, this is like old world oral tradition Scandinavian stories.
Yeah, so I kind of made some changes.
I mean, true to it though, It's darker than any Disney animated feature I've ever seen.
It is a very complex Disney movie. Like, the characters are actually fairly complex. Like, even the Disney quote-unquote villain, not the one that's revealed later in the movie, but, like, the initial one, like, what the story is, it's about two sisters,
one of which apparently got powers from Iceman.
Yeah, back to crossovers.
Yeah, exactly.
But she has like powers to control over ice and stuff like that. What was her name? Terrible name.
Elsa?
Elsa was the main chick.
Okay, you got Elsa and Anna?
Something like that.
Something like that.
Either way, the main character Elsa is like her sister.
How much attention we paid.
I'm terrible at names. I forget them every goddamn time. Everybody knows this. Everyone who watches this knows this. I mean, so the main character Elsa is has a sister, older sister, who has ice powers for some reason. And when they're little kids, they're playing in the hall one day, and she accidentally zaps them in the brain with the ice powers, which gets like the rogue hair thing going on.
The worst case of brain freeze ever.
And one thing, again, this is when we kind of start surprising me, was the parents find out, they kind of freak out. They take them to like these little rock troll things.
Yep.
And meanwhile, the other main character, Kristoff, I think is his name, and his reindeer Svens,
exactly, establishes himself as
a little kid who gets adopted by these troll people.
Yes.
Which
adopted or kidnapped? I don't know.
I don't know.
The one troll's like, I'm gonna keep you, and then it proves to be true, and it's just like,
it's like,
you gotta realize, if the story had focused on him instead, this would have been a much creepier tale.
Yeah. But they do have one funny song, so at least there was that.
Yeah, no, that was
a great fucking song.
There was some great songs in that. And I
was surprised.
I admit, when the first musical number hit, I was kind of surprised.
Yeah.
Because it kicks off with a musical number.
It does.
But I was surprised because for some reason I forgot that Disney animation has songs.
Well, for me, it's like, I'm more surprised by how self-aware the songs were.
Oh, totally.
Like, this movie is very self-aware. And
Yes.
that's one thing I loved about it. Was like, it knows what it is. And it knows about the ridiculous Disney tropes that have been following it for years. This is a very smartly written Disney movie.
Yeah, the Joan of Arc reference?
The Joan of Arc reference
was great.
They made reference to an old medieval martyr. I don't know if that's symbolism in some strange way, but I still loved it.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, so what happens is the parents take the troll people, like, I guess that one of the trolls is like a doctor who I swear looks like Papa Smurf. That's all I can think about anyway. Smurfs! Anyway. And I guess says, like, well, if it's in the brain, that's okay, but the heart, if you pretty much get the heart, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Is basically what she says, and he basically says, you have all these powers, you need to learn how to control them, so you gotta basically become isolated until you can. And what they like is the parents don't immediately reject the daughter or try to, like, lock her away. Well, they do kind of lock her away.
Yeah, but, they totally lock her away.
You get why they did it, too. It's not like they don't love her. They just want her to be, want to be safe.
In true parenting fashion, they believe the best way to handle something is to lock it away and never talk about it.
Just like Beauty and the Beast.
Exactly. Disney.
Anyway, so they basically kind of lock her away until she can learn to gain her powers, but she never really does control her powers, which is why she keeps getting locked away.
Yeah, exactly. And
again, like the character of Anna is surprisingly complex. Like,
yeah, no, definitely, she is.
You get why she does what she does. She's not just evil. She's not even really evil at all. She's not really much of a villain. Like, she's very sympathetic, and like that's why I'm surprised. Like, the trailer was kind of built her up to be this kind of the evil Ursula kind of villain, and she's really not. And that's really surprising about the film. It's like,
she's just scared. I definitely feel like the previews for Frozen do not do justice. Like, if you go to it because you saw the previews, you're not going to get the story you expect.
Because the trailer may look like much more of a kind of a happy-go-lucky, funny, like, crappy Disney movie.
Well, and I saw a lot of the early previews, not so many of the ones just before it came out. So I really expected just a hijinks-filled movie about a snowman. And
I fucking hated that teaser too. So that should tell you how much I like this movie. That it preceded my already very low expectations.
But Olaf was actually a fantastic character.
Olaf the snowman.
Yes, Olaf the snowman.
Basically, what happens is. Their parents eventually die during a musical short, which, again, that was actually a very well-done musical number.
No. This is Disney. Like any
They
great
kill
Disney
the
movie, it
parents.
has to start with dead parents.
Of course, that's how they always roll.
Yes.
But I like they have it happens during a musical number, which again I thought was really well done because the whole thing is like the younger sister wants to get the older sister's attention. She's kind of like, do you want to build a snowman? Do like all these fun things, and then like it keeps going like that until she gets get older and older, and Anna's still locked in her room because of the whole snow power thing, until eventually it kind of hits this really kind of just really dark, kind of depressing overtone at the very end after the parents die, when all of a sudden it's spoken out of grief, and I was like, wow. You tricked me, movie. I didn't I wasn't expecting that.
Oh.
Like now I feel all sad. And I didn't really know the parents all that well.
Exactly. And suddenly we're all suffering from up syndrome again.
Well, not quite as bad as up syndrome.
No, not as bad as up syndrome.
No.
I still cry every time I watch that.
The up syndrome is like you want to just curl into a ball after the first 10 minutes of the movie. Then you're like,
Right.
now I feel like I want to go kill myself. Not quite that bad. But still, it's surprisingly hot, even though it's like 43 degrees outside.
Indeed, but inside the car, it's a nice little sauna.
Yeah, so you gotta try to find that off balance. Anyway, so eventually the Anna has to be coronated as queen because she's the older sister, so it's inevitable. But she eventually, to paraphrase, she eventually loses control because she gets in an argument with her sister over another great thing that I love that they made fun of was the whole prince stereotype.
You know, the relationships in this movie, like I think this is definitely venturing into spoiler territory.
Yeah, so
and whatnot.
if you don't want to know spoilers, just go see the movie. It's a great movie, but
Yeah, no, excellent movie. Go see it. Stop now.
Yeah.
That being said, for the rest of you still watching,
Yeah.
you know, I love how they balance. I went from just one oh no to another with relationships in this because I'm like, oh no, true love born out of meeting the guy on the first day. But wait, no, now it's true love born out of a crisis. You know, I'm just like, neither of these situations is conducive to young women looking for relationships. And then at the end, when it turns out that your true love, you know, they comes from the fact that they're sisters.
That was really good.
That was very touching, and I felt like that was the best way they could handle that.
Yeah, and again, it was a nice twist on the classic Disney tropes, which again, like, actually worked more in effect, say, like, instead of Enchanted, where it was the guy's in distress rather than the damsel.
Definitely.
It doesn't really do that route. It goes like, here's what you expect, here's what we're gonna change, is basically what happens.
Exactly. Well, and I always, you know, I love that Disney always kills the parents because that's just horrible. But
Sadistic
I feel
bastard.
like, you know, the troll at the beginning is like, if it was his heart, she'd be doomed. But here we point out that sisters can have true love. And I love how they just avoid the fact that technically so could parents. If it hit our hearts, you would have really have to love your child. You know?
We know you don't, so fuck
Thank
that.
goodness it didn't come to that. Proving once again that royalty and true love have some struggles.
That's gonna be the tagline for the movie. Royalty. No, I was like, the tagline of the movie. The tagline of that movie's coming later.
It's true, it's true. Oh my god.
Okay, so let's keep moving with the story.
Yeah.
Then what happens is before the queen eventually freaks out, is
Throws
she
the kingdom into eternal winter that will last for the next 45 minutes.
pretty much what happens is she meets a prince before the coronation, and it follows the Disney trope of they fall in love instantly, like
Via montage.
Via montage, they fall in love literally in one evening.
Well, let's face it, if you find someone that you can instantly, just off the cuff, come up with a new musical tune that sings in harmony,
Good point.
you gotta stay with that woman. Especially if sandwiches are involved, which this song they are.
Respect women.
Well, no, I had a friend who actually put it really well. She asked me what the big deal was about that. That, if your man asks you for a sandwich and he deserves a sandwich, make him a sandwich. If your man asks for a sandwich and he doesn't deserve a sandwich, why are you dating him? You're dating a man who doesn't deserve a sandwich. Like, you got other problems going on.
I need to cut that one piece out and make it its own thing, and it will go viral. Anyway, so she meets the friends, and they fall in love literally within one evening and get engaged that very night. So, yes. And then it goes to back to her sister. Goes,
or they want to anyway.
They want to, and she goes, "I want your blessing so we can get married." And she goes, "No, you just met him."
Being a good older sister despite years of captivity.
Yeah, just goes, "No, that's bullshit." I'm paraphrasing, obviously.
didn't think of this till we were talking about it just now. The girl who spent more than a decade locked in her room has better common sense
than the girl she talks to paintings, man.
She talks to paintings.
So that should tell you a few things right there.
Exactly.
At least she's had time to read.
Right.
So at least there's that. But now even like the character of the main character,
Yes.
whose name starts with Elsa. That was it.
Yes.
Elsa's again. She's a very likable character. She's quirky. She's not exact. She kind of reminds me.
She's goofy, you know.
She's goofy. She's quirky. She kind of reminds me of Belle a little bit from Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, kind of.
So and like again, she's likable. All these characters are very likable characters. Even the kind of sort of main villain is very likable, very sympathetic, and has the most interesting struggle in the movie.
Indeed. No, you can really understand some of the characters. They do a great job of measuring that the villains in this story do not see themselves as villains.
Yeah.
And that's a key to a great story.
Agreed.
You know?
Yeah.
Because no one actively goes through life being like, I'm evil.
It's like
if they do, they're not very successful at it, you know?
I mean, let's take like example for one of Disney's best villains, like not Gaston. I'm thinking Beauty and the Beast again. I'm thinking Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh, the bishop.
The bishop. He wasn't a bishop. I think he was a judge. Frollo. Judge Frollo.
That's right. There we go.
He's like, again, that goes in everything. Like, villain doesn't see himself as villain, but is this wonderful, complex character. And you kind of, I mean, granted, I'm a little disappointed the villain in this song was much more of that kind of pop thing we're kind of seeing nowadays, which I was a little
True.
I mean, it was still a good song, but I love those big vibrant, the boom, the evil villain songs. Always the best songs in every Disney movie. We don't really get that.
Well, I think what it comes down to is Disney has realized that since they have done Maleficent and Scar, they will never have another great villain.
Frollo, come on.
I don't think that he measures up.
Really?
Personally.
Fair enough.
Of course, part of that has to do with the whole thing if that movie happens in France. And I just have issues with the French. But no, I don't have issues with the French, no.
I like how you quickly backstepped there. So I was like, no, I'm not a racist asshole. I swear to God, I don't profile much. Although I admit we had some horrible profiling while we were watching this movie.
Oh my gosh. Yes, no.
That goes in the trailers.
I'm a jerk to come on it. We'll get there.
Yeah, I had a couple too. Anyway.
Yeah, all right.
Anyway, so she eventually, after she freaks out, basically freezes the whole fucking village. She runs off into the biggest, tallest mountain she can find and builds her own castle, Watchman style.
Yep.
Or Superman. I guess you can go.
It's true. It does kind of look like the Fortress of Solitude.
And again, is this another? The visuals in the movie are outstanding.
It's all very well done. My only challenge with the visuals and the way they're constructed in this movie is that the people, while the graphics in it are amazing, they're not designed to look like people.
Well, yeah,
you think they look like people, but no. If you really think about their appearance, they're designed to look like Barbies. I'm telling you, this is the first Disney movie where your Barbie version of the Disney princess will look exactly the same because they were designed to, and it's creepy. And that thought throughout the whole movie is what led to my horrible statement later on, all right?
Okay.
So, anyways.
We're really hyping this up.
We are, and it's going to be such a disappointment for everyone. They're going to be like, oh, that's not that bad. He's an okay guy.
Anyway, so she, the main character decides, like, okay, I gotta go talk to my sister, basically talk her down from this horrible thing she's done.
Yes.
So she goes on an adventure and eventually runs into the other guy, Kristoff, and his whose reindeer acts like a dog for some reason.
Indeed. I'm totally down with it. I just got this new puppy a couple days ago, and she acts just like this reindeer. It's awesome.
Also, on another big step forward for Disney characters, Kristoff is the first character ever in a Disney movie to have multiple personality disorder.
It's true. He speaks for the reindeer.
In another voice.
He uses a different voice for it and everything.
Like, it goes like, I don't know about this reindeer, but we have to save the princess. So and then stuff like that happens as an inside joke through the whole movie.
Yeah. But then it's great because towards the end of the movie when he has to go save the princess and the reindeer's actively like trying to push him to do so, he actually stops and goes, I can't understand you when you talk like that. So wait.
Serious psychological problems.
Yes.
But even he calls her...
raised by trolls.
Fair point. But at the same time, even he calls her out on her bullshit. Like, in the first half of the movie, like, when they first meet, she's like, well, she was mad, well, what happened? It's like, well, see, my sister got mad after I told him I was getting engaged to this guy I just met.
Wait,
and she goes,
you got engaged to a guy you just met?
Exactly. He's like, wait, what the hell did you just say? And basically it goes on like, but did you know anything about him? Or like, and it's like, well, I'm sure he's a nice guy. And it's like, but how are you gonna do? Like, how are you gonna handle this? How are you gonna handle that? As our asking some some actual like relationship questions. Like, what are you gonna do when he picks his booger, like picks his nose
and he eats them? All guys do it.
And you and I kind of just like, yeah.
Except they don't. I hope. I really
Anyway.
thought that was what made me unique.
It's okay, buddy.
No, anyways.
Tear.
Yeah.
I want to be where the people are.
Never.
In fact, they ever have a duet about that. Is that reindeers are so much better than people.
Yes, exactly.
Best song in the movie. And he
They're all a
sings
bunch
it
of
to
jerks.
himself.
Yes. Well, and he sings it. It's a duet. He sings for the reindeer as well.
Yeah. Anyway, so on the journey, they finally encounter Olaf. Was it Olaf?
Yeah, they encounter Olaf, the snowman. They find him as they're journeying, trying to find her sister and all.
They find around to a talking snowman, which is actually the snowman his sister used to build when they were kids, which again was also kind of another fun little nod to their relationship.
Definitely not. She's still thinking of her sister. She doesn't. It's not that she doesn't care about her sister. It's her fear of hurting everyone that causes her to push herself into this seclusion.
Yeah.
Because of the horrible parenting that her parents had that caused the ocean to swallow them.
Yes, because God looks at, dude, your parenting sucks. Whoosh.
Let's face it. No one knows parenting like Poseidon. All right.
Now we're dragging Greek gods into this.
The ocean swallows them. Which god did you think it was?
Hades? Did we get James Wood in here?
That would have been amazing.
There's another crossover idea, Disney.
That or you've got King Triton down there who's like, man, 30 years ago I really messed this up. Not happening again.
Okay.
Go watch the next Little Mermaid thing. See if you can't find a Scandinavian sailing ship wrecked in the background.
So that's the ship she explores.
Oh, man. Who's its and what's its galore.
Oh, I'm sick. Don't make me laugh. Oh, okay. So anyway, so she eventually goes up there and they reunite, and she tells her about the horrible thing she accidentally did, and she naturally kind of loses control again, and actually does get her in the heart this time.
It's true.
Meanwhile, the prince is in charge back at the castle.
Yes.
And basically decides, okay, now I have to go after her, rah, 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 and then they go and capture the princess, basically.
Acting as the true hero, he goes to save the princess.
And I knew something was going to happen with him. I knew they were either going to kill him or they were going to do something. And I wasn't too surprised when the twist hit halfway through. We'll get to that.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing because both he and Kristoff are drawn as these male protagonist love interest characters, and I really expected them to be like, oh well, since Kristoff sells ice for a living, he'll have no problem with the sister's ice powers. They'll work out great. And so I thought you're going to wind up with 2 weddings at the end, and it's going to be romantic and lovely, and that is not how it goes.
Not at all. But again, it plays to your expectations, and it calls on some Disney tropes, and I really like that they did that.
Yes.
And we're getting to the trolls here.
Yes, the trolls. Oh my goodness.
So knowing that she's kind of sick now, take her to the troll people, which are all a bunch of rocks, which kind of led to a funny moment with the snowman.
Yes.
Where he was just he starts talking, these bunch of rocks are all rolled up, and he basically starts talking to him, and he goes, he's crazy. Run.
I'll distract them while you run. Yes, nice to see you. You're nice. You're very shapely rock.
Why aren't you running?
Exactly.
Going back to the multiple personality thing.
Yes.
So, but eventually turns out these troll people, and she says, and they call out another Disney trope, which I'm glad they had a nice twist on, because I was a little annoyed they included to begin with. which is the only thing that can fix the icy heart is an act of true love.
It's true, yes.
And I was like, oh, fuck you, no, you're not doing this.
Hey, all she needs is a cup of good cocoa. Which they never tried. I feel like that might have actually done it, because what says true love more than cocoa?
Or sandwiches.
Yeah, he's got a good point there.
Anyway, so naturally, it's supposed to be Kristoff, but they go back to the castle anyway because they think it's supposed to be the prince. Naturally, it's not the prince, but it turns out the prince is evil because he's like 13th in line for the throne. And he said, so basically decides, well, if I can't be king later, I'm just gonna try to marry one and kill off the other, which is basically what he does because he captures the queen and locks her up. And again, very sympathetic character, the queen, surprisingly.
Oh, yes.
Like, I kind of leaned over, I was like,
She's very relatable.
Like, this is really complex for a Disney movie. Yeah. Like, I was surprised.
Well, and you can kind of, like, see, you get a feel for it, that the prince even, like, he's not evil. He's bad, yes, but he understands that, growing up in royalty, you're taught to, seek power and all. And as ridiculous as his plan is to take the throne here, it's less ridiculous than trying to get away with killing 12 of your brothers. So,
that's a good point. But, and we're getting to the horrible part here.
Oh yes, we are. All right,
I do want to talk about the trolls for a little bit though, because they have a great little musical
They're
number.
Musical, yes.
Where they basically have the whole "Why aren't you two in love" kind of thing. But even at the same time, there's some great, very self-aware lyrics in the song.
There are. They start off talking about how he's a fixer-upper, and then she's a fixer-upper, and then they kind of talk about how everybody really is a fixer-upper in their own way.
There's one line I really like that was like, again, addresses all the problems I have with Disney romances, where it's like, you can't really change people, but you can make them feel good.
Exactly.
And that's what love can do. It's like, why haven't we said this years ago? Instead, all movies all have the same motive. It's like, well, love can fix everything. Love is like the Band-Aid on all problems, and that's like, it's gonna change everything. Like, no, it doesn't. They're still the crappy people they are.
Yes.
Love just makes them more tolerable.
Exactly.
And there's also a great lyric about the reindeer, where it's like he has a relationship with a reindeer that goes outside the laws of nature. So,
yes, he does. What they do together, we will never speak of.
That thought crossed my mind. I wasn't gonna go there. But bestiality, of course.
No, I was talking about sharing carrots.
Oh.
You're disgusting.
Says the man.
What is wrong with you?
Really? You're going to call me out on horrible things?
We'll get there later. It gets worse.
But they were a lot of fun. I thought they had a great... The songs in this movie are very good. Like I said, they're really fun, they're really poppy, but they're also very self-aware.
Definitely.
And again, like I said, this is very self-aware, it's very sharply written, it's a very smartly written movie. It focuses primarily on the relationship between the characters, first and foremost.
Definitely.
And that's why it works.
Yes.
And it's not like, it tries to have good laughs in there, but that's not the focus. It's not like Princess and the Frog, where that's really what kind of bothered me, which you had like 5 different characters all for laugh purposes, and it kind of took away from the main focus.
Well, yeah, but without all those laughs, Princess and the Frog would have been an insanely dark story. I mean, it was pretty dark to begin with. This one, I think, was darker.
Yeah, but it worked better.
But even so, then again, if you're really going, Princess and the Frog, that's another thing to talk about. Let's get back on track.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother video.
Yes.
But, anyway, so the part where Wes is a horrible person comes up towards the very end where it reveals that...
there has been no act of true love to save Elsa. And
no, so she's dying in the middle of the castle.
She's dying. She's slowly turning to ice, and you can see frost, and her fingers have turned blue and everything. She's run out of the castle, and she's out on the frozen, harbor outside of the castle.
To try to catch Kristoff, who's come back to once he realizes they're going to
Exactly. She realizes that Kristoff is coming back, and he must love her, and it's going to be true love born out of a horrible tragedy, which is just how true love should happen.
Of course.
And we're like, okay, here we go.
We're going to go the original Disney trope, but no, that's not what happens.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the prince is kind of taken over. He says the princess is dead, so he's the king now.
She freaks out, and all of a sudden the storm that's been going on around them and obscuring everyone's vision goes away. Which, considering that fear and turmoil has been causing the storm, the fact that her sister being dead suddenly stops the storm.
I think it kind of works.
From a storytelling perspective, sure. But in my opinion, I guess it should have just been like horrible, spiky ice everywhere and everyone dies. But Disney!
There's a twist. Anyway,
Yeah.
so this is after the king catches up with her and tells her that her sister is dead.
Yes.
Even though she's not really dead.
He's not the king. He's hoping to be the king. This is
the prince.
The prince, 13th in line, who we thought was a good guy, turns out to have this horrible plan to take the throne by killing off both the sisters.
Pretty much. So then they find each other, and he's about to get the killing blow. Meanwhile, Kristoff is almost to the princess, and she realizes her sister's about to die. So instead of going for the kiss with the boyfriend, she runs off to sacrifice herself for him, which breaks and turns her into ice. And meanwhile, she kind of freaks out. The queen kind of freaks out, and they have a teary moment. And she unmelts, and then you start laughing.
Yeah, before they have this teary moment, she like dives in front of the sword and turns to solid ice, which thank goodness that didn't happen like 5 seconds sooner, or else she'd be like 15 feet away. Which would have been, again, horribly dark and not Disney. But she gets in the way, and the sword he's swinging to kill the queen shatters upon her. However, before the sword strikes her, she turns into this beautiful blue ice sculpture.
And I look over at you.
Because I've been struggling with the fact that both these princesses look like Barbies. They don't look, like people so much as they look like, these plastic toys. I can't control myself, and I start laughing.
And I'm looking over. I'm like, you asshole.
Exactly. It's terrible of me. But I can't stop laughing. When he looks at me, he's like, what's going on? And I just lean over and whisper, now she'll be beautiful forever. Which is so bad.
It's like the most serial killer thing anyone has ever whispered to me in the middle of a goddamn Disney movie.
Oh, it's terrible of me. Like, I both felt like a horrible person for it, but I could not stop laughing.
Meanwhile, I'm looking at you, I'm like, you're a horrible dick. I'm laughing at this very teary moment. That's like if you laughed while Bambi died. Well, not quite that bad.
Not quite that bad, but...
That's how you say it. It's like, does anyone want some venison? After Bambi died.
Oh, dear.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna go there, yeah. It's the only way to stop the laughter.
It worked. Anyway.
Yes, alright.
So after that, the movie kind of ends how you expect. Everyone's okay with the ice thing now. Summer's been brought back, and of course her and Kristoff end up together. The snowman doesn't melt miraculously.
Exactly. Well, because the ice can does this. And she names Kristoff the head ice merchant or something?
Yeah, because he's an ice merchant. We forgot to mention that.
Yeah, no, and does this great musical number at the very beginning that establishes that he comes from this line of men who harvest ice from the frozen mountains and everything.
Try to make it sound as manly as lumberjacks.
It's manlier. That was an awesome song, and it really is that's insane because that's how they used to get ice. Now we just have a machine. We put the cup under it and see like it's magic. If only we had a queen. No.
Anyway,
but yeah, no. So I couldn't help but chuckle to myself about the fact that he's been given this head ice merchant position in a kingdom where everyone now actively knows that the queen can make ice with her fingertips.
We don't think about plot holes like that.
This is a horrible economic position to be given. She better be getting paid, he better be getting paid by the queen, because otherwise he's making nothing.
Yeah. I just like how the reindeer pose like the hot chick on the new sled.
Oh, yes. Well, because the sled gets destroyed and goes up in a horrible fiery explosion. Which is only explained by the fact that there was a lantern, there was some oil, and he actually mentioned that the sled was freshly lacquered, which would have made it extremely flammable.
There you go. Plot hole explained. Now we gotta talk about how the snowman is technically alive. Even though it has no bones or organs or any real...
He actually has the line, I don't have a brain. Or bones. And it just kind of hangs there for a moment. Like, okay. What do you say to that?
But overall, I thought this was a very good movie. I think it's the best Disney's done in a long time.
Yes.
I really enjoyed it, which I don't usually enjoy Disney movies, so it's saying a lot.
Yes.
So I was very impressed by it.
I was touched,
Now we move on to trailers.
Yes.
Oops. Like, and unlock my phone because I always write them down now because I made them. Lauren started doing it, and I thought that's a really good idea, so I started doing it, and it's worked out well for us since.
All right.
So the first one we got, which is one I'm not looking forward to, from DreamWorks, which is Mr. Peabody and the Children.
Oh my God! How can you not be looking forward to that?
It looks so stupid.
Okay,
It looks like Mr. Robinson.
Did you watch Mr. Peabody growing up?
No.
That's why you're not looking forward to it.
Okay, I didn't realize there was like another...
I grew up on Rocky and Bullwinkle reruns, which were around back when my dad was a kid, and one of the shorts that they always had in Rocky and Bullwinkle, or not always, but often had in Rocky and Bullwinkle, was Mr. Peabody and Sherman, which was this little boy and his dog that was incredibly smart traveling through time. And so it's kind of like them taking our, the nostalgia and bringing it into the 3D animated film.
I mean, it's made by DreamWorks, and DreamWorks has really surprised me in the past. So I'm willing to give it a shot.
Oh yeah, no, it looks like it's gonna have the same kind of magic and everything that what is it, Rise of the Guardians?
Maybe not as much, I would say.
Maybe not as much, but really that Rise of the Guardians is probably the best holiday movie I've seen before Frozen.
I'd argue there's better out there, but then again, I haven't watched it all the way through.
I'm just talking in recent history.
Fair enough. I mean, it does have the douchebag for 30 Rock as a Russian Santa, so I mean that's kind of a win right there.
You can't go wrong with a Russian Santa.
I know, right?
Or you can go horribly wrong.
In this case, from what I understand, it didn't. But
no,
the next one
it was great, actually.
The one I'm really looking forward to that we got out of this, which it looks 10 times better than it should, is the Lego Movie.
Yes.
This movie should not be good. It should not even look good, and yet it looks amazing.
Well, and I think what's going to make it great is the same thing that has me looking forward to Peabody, and you not necessarily, is I'm certain, I don't even have to ask, we both grew up on Legos.
Yeah.
And so the fact of what this movie is going to be is so,
cool.
I can't wait for it. I'm very excited.
And it has what looks like a hilarious Batman, too.
Oh, yeah. No, they've got Batman. This was the first time I'd seen that particular preview for it.
Yeah.
And so the clip at the end of to the Batmobile. And this laser thing shoots it and blows up the Batman. He's like, damn. And it goes to Wonder Woman. She's like, to the invisible jet. And it shows this area with nothing and a laser fires and something explodes. And she's like, damn.
They don't actually say damn. It's
no, they don't. Yeah, it's some other noise of frustration.
It's Dana, I think it was.
Yeah.
But it's like this funny part. There's a video on Lego movies called Meet the Batman. It's like a Meet the Characters kind of thing for the Lego movie. There's a part where he's filming there, it's like, look, I don't really want to do this. I got other things going on. It's like, and then he goes, well, we can always get Superman to do it. And he goes, I'm Batman!
No, it'll be good. All right.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, that was pretty funny. So I was like, it looks like he's got such a humor. It has fucking Morgan Freeman. And I don't know how they got him to do this. But it looks like it's a great cast. It has Will Ferrell. But,
But it's got Will Ferrell as a bad guy. And I mean, that worked well in Zoolander.
Well, I mean, I will give Will Ferrell credit. When Will Ferrell actually wants to be a character instead of a caricature, he's not bad. I actually thought he did a good job in Megamind.
Yeah, he was decent in Megamind. Stranger Than Fiction is actually one of my favorite movies.
I've heard that's good. People who are Will Ferrell defenders keep telling me to go see that. I'll watch it eventually.
I am not a Will Ferrell defender. I think that a lot of his movies are
terrible.
Well, yeah, and I don't know that that's necessarily on him, because he doesn't write these movies. He just acts in them.
I use the word act loosely.
Yeah, well, exactly. But Stranger Than Fiction, he plays a character, and he does it very, very well.
So I'm hoping Lego movie will be good. But either way, last one we got was Walking with Dinosaurs, which we can't tell if it's a ripoff of Land Before Time or of Disney's Dinosaurs. Maybe a little of both.
It could be. I really don't know where they're going to go with it. I can't decide how I feel about that movie, because part of me is like, dinosaurs! Yee! And part of me is like, where are they going with this? Because it looks somewhere between a Morgan Freeman narrated nature documentary of March of the Penguins,
a little bit,
and then a knockoff of Land Before Time. So,
yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things that's kind of confusing. But I know I kind of made a horrible joke, and then you expanded on it while we were talking about this one in the theater. Keep in mind, there's only two people in the theater, so we're fine. No. We can get away with this shit.
We were talking pretty quietly.
Yeah, we were talking pretty quietly. It's not like we were really going, no, in the middle of the theater.
Exactly.
Starts in our own musical number. But I couldn't help it. It says it coming this Christmas. Like, yes, because when you think Christmas, you think dinosaurs. And you was like, so someone's like, who doesn't? And I was like, the Jews.
He was like, so I'm like, yes, coming soon. This movie, Jews don't believe in dinosaurs.
So it's like, I know Sarah and Lewis are gonna appreciate that joke.
Absolutely.
Being our 2 Jewish members in the group.
Yes. In a perfect world, I can just see, like, Sarah dressing up as a dinosaur and punching you in the next video.
I would pay to see her do that, too. Although I shouldn't say that, because she might actually take me up on that.
Oh, she almost definitely will.
Because I know she actually watches all of these. So.
The real trick will be sneaking her into the back seat of your car without you knowing. So midway through the next review, she just, like, sits up and punches you. You're like, what the... Ah!
You could pull that off. I'd give you $20 if you could actually pull that off without me noticing.
Can I get you to leave your car unlocked?
No, that's the thing. I can't give you any leeway. You gotta do it all yourself. So.
All right, there's gonna be some vehicular damage involved.
Only if you pay for it afterwards. Because I just spent my car's still in the shop. So.
All right, 100% of the proceeds from the next 3 reviews that I do with you will go towards repairing your car.
Okay, that's...
Everything I make off these, I'm gonna give back to you to pay for it.
So that's gonna take a while to come back to me, isn't it? Because right now we haven't even made $10.
That's pretty silly. You take the nothing into nothing, divide by nothing, and then you've divided by 0, and everything goes horribly. So no. So anyways, back to the previews.
I think it's all we were able to say about the previews. So final thoughts.
Really, just a fantastically made Disney movie. I've had a lot of concerns about Disney films in recent years because, DreamWorks, Pixar, there have been other companies that have been coming out with really quality animated films, in my opinion, and Disney's, last few, some have been good, some have not, and so it's been hit and miss. This one is definitely a hit.
I agree.
I recommend that, go and see this one for the holidays. Take some friends. If you've got kids, take your kids. Mm-hmm. If you don't have kids, don't take someone else's kids, because that's illegal.
Okay.
And, but no, it's fantastic. And if you don't make it out there, this is definitely one that I will plan to own.
I agree.
Because I think this would be a good one to play. Just, every holiday season comes around, it's a good film to put on.
I agree. I think it's a smart film. I think it's very well written. I think it's very well executed. I just think it's a very good film, and it's a nice return to form for Disney, who I feel like last few movies have been kind of lackluster.
Definitely. No.
So it's like it's good. It's a good return to the Disney trope. It plays on some things. It tries some new things. It has good characters. It's a fun Disney movie, and has good music, good writing, good voice work. I really liked it.
Excellent. So
I think that's about it then. So we got Old Boy later this week, whoever I can drag to go see that. And me and Emma still got to record the Hunger Games review, so we'll get that out as soon as we can. Otherwise, that's it. So see you all whenever I get around to uploading these.
So Michael, do you want to build a snowman?
Let's close the windows.